moment what I'm doing is I'm meeting and greeting members as they're coming in. One, obviously to make connections, because the purpose of coming to events like this is to try and make some good connections. Also, it's a great way of members finding out what everybody else is doing. It's great for market intelligence, market research.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the George Hotel for the Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce Premier Series dinner. Now, your hosts would like to invite you to the King's Hall. Dinner is being served. Enjoy your evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a huge welcome to Edinburgh, to the George Hotel and to our November Premier Series dinner. For those that don't know me, I'm Alec MacLeod and I am the President of the Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce. I would like to welcome Easyjet's respected CEO, Caroline McCall.
It is a great pleasure to be here this evening. It's a very impressive gathering, beautiful room. Edinburgh looks fantastic at this time of year. Actually, it's better than London, I think, at this time of year. And I'd just really like to thank the Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce for inviting me and, of course, Easyjet to speak tonight. So I've been asked to talk about the strategy for Easyjet and our commitment to Scotland. And in particular our commitment to Scottish businesses.
This is the first dinner I've been to with the Edinburgh Chamber. I came here tonight by myself and it's a little intimidating walking in, but then as I said, everybody's very friendly. I easily met a couple of people and started chatting, and then everybody around the table's been really lovely tonight, and it's nice to find out what they do and why they're here as well. And here for the same reason, they want to meet people, they want to talk to people.
We've grown to become the UK's largest airline, carrying over 58 million passengers per year. That's more than BA, including BMI, and Virgin put together. And we're now Europe's fourth largest airline.
I think an evening event is a much more social event. I think generally it's a bit more relaxed, and there's obviously more opportunity for conversation, different people around the table, I think. And when there's a talker involved as well on the evening, that's always interesting.
One of my first priorities when I joined that year was to strengthen the integrity and the resilience of the operation. You can't even begin to think about business passengers if you don't have really strong punctuality. I'm pleased to say that summer 2012 was our best ever for punctuality and reliability. We're taking that new momentum into our financial year, which starts in October.
I think it's great to hear what the speaker has to say and sort of take on what the information they're giving you, but it's also a great networking event. Thank you for coming back to the George time and time again. Please continue.
Our ambition is that Easyjet is absolutely seen by passengers across Europe to be Europe's preferred airline. We have already 10 million passengers flying on business. That's about 18% of our total passenger numbers. But across all Scottish flights, that figure is 27%. On some routes like Glasgow and Edinburgh to Luton, the figure's around 40%. So it's very, very high out of Scotland. The key elements in attracting such passengers, as you know, are punctuality, reliability, and of course the schedule.
The Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce are fantastic at pulling everybody in the city together to talk about the business issues that are related to the day. It's fantastic here tonight, and obviously related to my industry, Easyjet announcing two more planes which are going to be located in Edinburgh, which will drive, we're told, 140,000 new visitors to the country and have an economic benefit of £90 million. So that's exciting. Tonight we have an opportunity to mingle and mix with some of our colleagues from around the city and the business community to make sure that they keep on doing them. I think it's important that people get out and meet and mingle and talk issues face to face. It's a human, business should be human, and we should make sure that it stays that way. And I feel the Edinburgh Chamber do a fantastic job at making sure that we meet people that we can do business with.
In Edinburgh, we fly to Milan, Madrid and Geneva, And we continue to invest in these markets by ensuring our schedule and capacity meets the business's needs. If you, as a business audience or your chamber, thought that Moscow was important to Scotland, we would seriously consider connecting Edinburgh and Moscow together. So, I mean, that's just something that we listen to when we're planning route development.
It's a networking dinner, so it gives SMEs the opportunity to actually talk to each other. It gives SMEs, and we're all about the membership. I mean, the Chamber is a membership organisation. It also gets them the chance to listen to leaders in different sectors in the industry and hopefully learn from that as well. So to make new connections, to actually pick up some tips, hopefully from leaders in the industry, and scientists to enjoy themselves in an informal atmosphere. For me, it's all about knowledge transfer. And actually for SMEs and small businesses and startups to meet people that have been through a similar position in the past, but also to pick up on the actual services that Chamber can offer for them.
I hope you all know that we are actually Scotland's largest airline. We carry over 5 million passengers a year to and from Scotland across 4 Scottish airports: Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen and Inverness. We have up to 60 flights a day between Scotland and London. As I mentioned earlier, our flights, and so did Alec, our first flights were between Edinburgh and London in 1995. We've had a base here actually since 2002. You've heard we have 5 aircraft here. We've just increased it to 7. Current destinations from Eddie include key business routes to many of Europe's leading cities. London, of course, Amsterdam, Paris, Munich, Geneva, as I said. And alongside this, we've been developing and growing a range of leisure routes, such as Tenerife, very popular, Naples, and how do you say that? Paphos. That's it. Edinburgh combines strong business and leisure traffic, of course, both in and out of the city.
From NatWest Bank, we are here because we're a member of the Chamber. We either bank or would like to bank a lot of these businesses in the room, so it's a networking event, and we'd also like to hear what Easyjet have got to say. The Premier Series is a good event. We always make sure we've got one of us here present. Quality event, good food, and a good networking opportunity with people you need to meet.
So we announced 6 new routes from Edinburgh in an expansion plan, which will result in the creation of about 160 new jobs, 500, and in addition to that, 500 indirect jobs in Scotland. I really believe that through focusing on our passengers, on our customers, that we are in a really strong position to continue to deliver low fares, good service, and increasing connectivity for Scotland and also for Scottish businesses across Europe. So thank you very much for listening to all of that, and I'm really looking forward to your questions later on. Thank you. I can't see that it will affect our business that much, because I think regardless of whether the referendum goes through or not, you know, Scotland and people in Scotland will travel, because you always have done. I mean, that's just the way it always has been. And so I think Easyjet will probably not be very affected by that. Also remember, I mean, you know, we work with governments all over Europe. They're all very different. They all have different policies. I mean, it depends very much on the policies that are pursued by any government. But largely, I think governments recognise, you know, the importance of aviation in any economy. And that will become increasingly important if you gain independence for a smaller state, if you like. But if you remain, it will be the same as it is now. We see high-speed rail as a competitor. We compete with them like we would compete with any other airline, actually. We do in France, for instance, come up, but only marginally on you know, high-speed rail in France, as you all know, is very strong. But we do very, very well in France, I think partly because strategically we're very careful about our route development when we are competing with high-speed rail. So we have to be very, we take a very different view of those routes. And we won't necessarily go on ones that are very well served by high-speed rail. So we'd be the same in this country. I think that we are very actively engaged, and increasingly so. So I would say that the business initiative for us is about 2 years old only. And we've spent the first year of that building the platform, so we are now, well ensconced in terms of the contracts we have with travel management companies and with GDS and all of those other things. We have a sales team in place now, so it was all about building it. I think this has been the year where we've actually actively engaged with business communities all over. And we will be very responsive, I think, receptive and responsive to what comes through, because clearly we won't be able to please everyone all the time, just never will happen, but we will definitely do things that we believe have an economic benefit, both for the business community, but it will also be for EasyJet. So I think, more of that probably. You'll see more of that as we go on. It's very complicated, because you think airports have far more control over their environment than they actually do. And airlines are not very sympathetic to that argument, although it might be true, which is, they don't control everything around customs or security. I mean, security, yes, but, there are things that the government does that they can do nothing about. So I think our influence is usually, I hope, a constructive one with airports. I mean, we do go a bit mad sometimes, but it's usually because the customer has had a really poor baggage experience, or the baggage belts have failed, or whatever it might be. And then we get very difficult with an airport, but we will try and do it in a constructive way, and we do see airports as partners. And so therefore we kind of moderate our behaviour when we're dealing with that kind of incident.